Was it really me he was describing? Faculty, students, friends. If I sound different, it's because I'm different. If I look different, it's because I'm well done. On invitations, I've been traveling around the country and outside the country telling people about God and His grace. That's what I do when I'm in the church. So every denominations of churches, schools, and the likes of everything, I've traveled and gone in and outside of the country. Every major television, radio, newspaper, magazines carried something, an interview. Every podcaster, can you please have an interview? This is the 25th year of the infamous World Trade Center, and you know the rest of all that. So I'm a little busier than usual. I mean, really, really busy. As it gets to September, I can be, let's say, in California today, and tomorrow I have to be in Virginia, and the next day I have to be, let's say, in Pennsylvania, and the next day I got to come back to Texas. That busy I'm talking about. So over the years, I did what I had to do. I work as a corporate banker, some of the largest bank in the world. You never heard about Fuji Bank and Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corp. I'm telling you, 82,000 employees worldwide. That big I'm talking about. I'm talking about the top 10 in the world in terms of net assets. And I work as an assistant vice president, whatever all that means. Bottom line is I did the hard work. But upon invitations, I travel. And I'm doing this not because I want to do it, or it's because of this gratitude to the Lord. I serve in my church as an associate pastor. I'm also a licensed minister of the gospel. So if you want to get married, I can say what a power vests to me, the state of New York, your husband and wife sign. However, if you want the divorce, I can't help you with that. So that's what I do behind the scene. So I'm the guy who dig out all the gum from the carpet and collect the tithes and offering and help them with all the banking needs. So I'm fully retired from my secular job. So what the church did, capitalized on me. And what the other people did, wanted something, Stan, you gotta come to our church, you gotta come to our school, you gotta come to the college, and you gotta say something. Whatever I'm saying there, I don't know if I'm making sense, but they wanted me to go. So when I get called to come here, I said, I have to come. Because by profession, I'm a school teacher. I was teaching high school at age 16. Yes, you heard it correct. I was one of these early bloomers. So the boys and girls and I were the same age. So I was a threat to the boys and I was a passing grade to the girls. And you know how that goes. And after 8.5 years, I said, nah, I hate this job. I don't want it. I want to be a banker. So of course I started working for a bank. What bank? A Japanese bank. They can't understand me, I can't understand them. I don't like sushi, I like well-done food. I don't like chopsticks because I think it's barbarous and savage. Give me a fork and a knife, I'm a happy man. I tell them as it is, and every time I told them, you deserve to go back to Japan and build electronics and cars, they give me a promotion. Because I tell them as it is. You see, all these guys, they're telling you what you want to hear. Oh, Stanson, oh, he tell us what we want. What is passing through his mind. So I got a promotion. Got more money, I'm a happy man. So I spent 40 years working for corporate banks. 40 years. Until 2 years ago, I said, I think I had enough of this for a lifetime. And I just went and I said, I quit. This is it. I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna go into retirement. One, because I was not well. I'll tell you a little more. And two, they were driving me crazy. I mean, literally crazy. I'll go to work starting, let's say I don't have to be at 8:00, but I'll be there at 8 o'clock. And depending on the time of the month or the year or the semester, I would be there at 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And I gotta go back again the next day. So that's what I did. Born and raised in British Guyana, South America. 40-something years ago, I came to America. I never went back. So the only thing I remember of Guyana are the memories that I have. And now I hear they got a lot of oil. I want to go back now. But yeah, it's not even a thought. So we travel upon invitations. And we go. Now my wife accompanies me because they stand, if when you die, at least you got to come home to bury your body in New York. And you hear a little more than that. But I want to take you back to this day, and I want to tell you before I go on what I have to say. You may never understand why you're here. You may never understand why college. You may never understand. But there's a reason why you're here and you don't know. By the time I'm done, you would walk away with a couple of things, and I'm not sure what you would walk away with. Some of you would walk away believing there is a God. If you call with all your heart and mind and soul and body, He's going to hear and answer. You're going to walk away knowing that there's grace. You're going to know that there's something you call brotherhood. You're going to know there's something called courage. You're going to learn something about adversities. And you're going to learn one thing. If it ain't your time to go, you ain't going home. But I want to take you back to that infamous day some 25 years ago. We lived in a little town they called Elmont. A little house, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 2 daughters. So I'm at disadvantage. My wife is fixing her hair. I remember this so clearly. On September 11th, that morning, Stan, I'm having a bad hair day. And even up to 37 years of marriage, I still can't figure out what a bad hair day is. And I'm telling her that I'm going to wear my lucky shoe and go to work today. The only thing I ever bought in my life. I'm not a shopper. I hold the bag, she shops. And after we're done, we go to eat and I'm happy. So you can take 4 hours if you want. I'm okay. And she says, Stan, that's an ugly pair of shoes. For $110, Stan, $110, I could have gotten a Clark, a Boston in the floor shop. She went on with the list. I don't even know the names of the shoes she buys I wear. That's it. So she says, okay, Stan, if you want to wear the ugly shoe, you go. And thank God I wore that ugly pair of shoe. It had a thick sole, thick rubber sole. Had I not walked with that shoe or wore that shoe that day, chances are I wouldn't have been able to walk again. When you see what is embedded in the soles of the shoe. So by commuting, I would drive from Elmont to go to Queens, the borough of Queens, park the car up wherever I can find a park, and I would take the A train, the letter A train, and I would go to Lower Manhattan. Total traveling, let's say 2 hours per day. That's going. Nothing indifferent about that day. Nice and warm and sunny. Got to the Trade Chamber Street, walked down through the tunnel, got to the Trade Center, and the lobby level store, 16 acres of shopping. Stopped right there, went to the bagel store, toasted raisin bagel, cup of coffee, $1.25 here. Put them in a brown bag, briefcase in one hand, pushes the button. In less than 45 seconds, I'm zoomed up to the sky lobby of the 78th floor. And then you take the local elevator and go to the higher floors, which I'm working now on the 81st floor. I work for a company called Fuji Bank Limited, Japanese bank. And we had occupied 4 floors, 79, 80, 81, and 82, 4 floors in the South Tower. So we would call the North Tower World Trade Center 1, the South Tower World Trade Center 2. Got there, walk all the way down the hallway. South end of the building makes a right, a huge glass enclosed office. Other people share the office with me. Where I sat, I had a wonderful view, but I'll tell you a little more on that. So when I walked in the office, there was a young lady making copies at a copier. Delise Sariano was her name. Stan, how you doing? I'm special, thank you. I know you're special, Stan. My pastor used to tell us, anybody asks you how you doing, you tell them special, you're special. Because when you ask somebody in New York City before you answer them, they're gone. And some of them would turn back and says, what makes you special? And you tell them, I'm a child of God. And he said, you just witnessed to somebody. So I took that to my job. I work with people who are Buddhists and Shintos and Bushidos and, fraction of Catholics and born-again believers and stuff. I took my religion seriously. I had my Bible on top of my desk. This is who I am. Lunch hour, I could do anything I choose to do. I would drink my soup, eat my salad, read my Bible. That's what I do. They don't bother our stance on. Now, I don't tell them about God, they don't tell me about their God. We draw that line. We were in a consolidation with two other large Japanese banks, IBJ, Industrial Bank of Japan, and the Daiichi Kangyo Bank. They were going to merge with Fuji Bank. One of the largest merger. So because of that, I had two desks. This is where my desk was, and that's where I'm going to be sitting. And part of the office was relocated on the other building. The phone rang. I pick up the phone, my mother is the phone. Stan, you okay? Yeah. My brothers, Steve, Paul, Bill. Stan, you're okay? You're okay? Yeah. It's not even 9 o'clock. There's a lot of love here. But nobody never told me anything. You see, I was in the elevator coming up when the first building was hit way on top. And I didn't have a clue. The building inside is soundproof, so you can't hear what is happening outside. So the young lady who was making copies of the copier, she didn't know that the first plane had hit the first building. So, as I'm walking towards the desk, I could see the corner of my eyes, the North Tower. If I was to look an angle to my right, was the Hudson. And if I looked straight in front of me here toward the south, I could have seen the Statue of Liberty. And an angle to my left, part of the Brooklyn Bridge. Spectacular view. When you work on the 81st floor, planes flew by that same altitude, half a mile, plane zoomed by, you're gone. And trucks and buses would look like little matchboxes when you look down from the ledge. So it was a spectacular view. So as I walked towards the desk, I could have seen fireballs coming down from the sky. Like, oh my gosh, what is happening? So I walked, went to the ledge, and I'm looking up. So I call up the Delise. Delise, go, take a look what is happening here. So she's looking, Stan, I'm scared. All right, let's get out to the office. So I walk back to the phone, pick up the phone. I'm down my boss, Peter Del Grasso. Pete Son, pick up. No response. I called his boss, Bob Militaglio. Bobby, pick up. No response. Let's get out of here. So Delise and I ran out of the office, run along the hallway, back to the local elevator, pushes the button. We're now on the 78th floor, the sky lobby. Multiple elevators, hundreds of people, they're waiting to go downstairs. And we stood there, and the elevator opened right in front of me. I stepped in, Delise stepped with me, all the people went in, all the big shots from my company, the CEO and everybody else, head of human resources. Door closed, went down. The doors opened back in front of me, so the doors can open on both sides. The doors open, I stepped out. You gotta go to a turnstile. And the security guard looks at me and says, where you going? I says, I'm going home. He says, no. Your building is safe, is secure, go back to your office. But you can hear the intercom system, you can hear the loudspeakers, and you can hear the whoop whoop signals. Your building is safe, is secure, go back to your office. Now, what do you do when your boss is in that elevator and you want to go home? So I'm now caught in the middle of this whole thing, and I don't know if I should go home or what I should do. And Delise said, Stan, I'm scared, I want to go home. I said, well, take the rest of the day off. And one of the big shots in the elevator said, Stan, son, how can you do that? We have an operation here to run. I said, no, I'm running the operation, she is going home. And that was probably the best decision I ever made in my life. And it was the first time I spoke to my bosses like that. I'm not that person. So they were taken back, and this young lady is walking the way she's going. And as she's going, she's turning back, looking at me. Are you sure? Go. She's gone. And I'm standing up there, deciding what to do. Come on, Stanley, man. You're not scared to go back up. And I'm still not sure why I should be scared. But I'm not going back in. The doors are trying to close in the elevator doors. And Jack Andriacchio is leaning against one side and Manny Gomez on the other side, preventing the door from closing. And here I am standing up. And I'm deciding what to do. Stan, we don't have all day. Come on, gotta go. And half-heartedly, I'm stepping back into that elevator, and 1993, February 26th flashed in my mind. I remember I was in the North Tower on the 79th floor. It was about 12 or thereabout, and my supervisor at the time, a lady named Sophia Wong, she ordered Chinese food. some special order from Chinatown. And the food came, and she and I were sitting across the desk from each other, light conversation, and all I heard was boom. A guy drove a 1,200 pounds of explosive in a white pickup truck, parked the truck there, walks away, takes a remote control and presses it, and the bomb exploded. Boom. And within seconds, the smoke rose through the vents. The lights flickered, the place went dark, and she starts to scream, "We're gonna die, we're gonna die." And I sat there and I cleaned that pork chop. And I says, "Lord, if I'm coming home today, I'm coming with a full stomach." Thank God I did, because I got up 2 o'clock the next morning. You hear the drop, roll, go to lower floors. Well, what they did was to send it to higher floors as the smoke rose. I was a fire warden. And when all this happened, you just forget about it and you do what you feel is right. So that's what they did. So I got home 2 o'clock the next morning. My wife thought I died. I didn't have a cell phone in 1993. And I said to her, "I'm not going to go back to work." All these thoughts passed through my mind in that brief couple seconds. I'm stepping into the elevator. I went back in the elevator. The door closed. And I can still remember the smile of all the faces of all the people I'll never see again. I would never see them. I still remember Alicia Living is looking at me, smiling. And Kawuchi had his sweater tucked in his khakis, and I pulled it out. "Come on, man, it's a warm day." Only Stan can do that. These people were more friends with me than my employer-employee, that relationship. And we zoomed back up. Got out to the 78th floor. Some people went to the 79th, some to the 80th. I took the local elevator to the 81st floor. One man stepped out in front of me. The man was out of a job for a long time. And my boss took compassion on this man and hired him as a consultant. First week of the job. And the man walks in front of me and stepped into the men's room. And I continued, went back into office, and I never saw that man again. What do you tell this wife and children who would call and say, "Did you see my dad?" And I suffered with that survival guilt for many, many years. If going to work to provide for your family means doing something that is wrong, well, then we're all guilty. These good men and women who passed did not deserve it. And I start looking at the world after that totally different. Went back in the office and the phone is ringing again, and the young lady from Chicago, she's calling. And this is what she says: "Get out." "Get out for what?" Says, "Stan, you're not logged on in the computer, you're not watching the monitor. Please, get out, go, go, go. We don't have time. Lady, you tell me why I gotta go. And then I'll go. I'm a logical-minded person." "Oh, Stan, we don't have time. You gotta go. And I'm standing up there, still don't know why I should go. And something says, "Raise your hand and look straight ahead of you." Now what I saw was a giant gray plane coming towards me, eye level, eye contact. And I froze. If you look at that picture right there, the security camera captured that plane just before impact. That's a complimentary of the BBC. When we did the interview, the lady said, "We just called in Port Authority and they're going to send you a picture you've never seen before." And that is yours truly hiding under that desk. So, I'm looking at that plane coming towards me, and I'm mesmerized and hypnotized, and you're glued to the floor and you don't know how to react. And all I remember doing, I said, "Lord, I can't do this. You take over." And I don't know, even if you beat me over the head, I still wouldn't know why I said that. And I dove under the desk. And even want to know, I can hear that revving sound that the engine is making as the plane gets closer and closer and closer. Bam! The plane slammed into the building. And upon impact, every wall was flattened, every piece of the furniture was mangled, the floor above me collapsed and is hovering over my desk, and the only desk that stood firm was the one that I'm hiding under. What is that chance? What is that chance? He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I walked away with. Fire all around me. All the windows were popped. And what you see were like confetti was all the pieces of glass and paper. And the air pressure was so great, it was sucking everything. And you could hear it. And I'm holding all to this mangled furniture and I'm screaming. It looks like somebody took a giant bag of cement and threw it in the air. When the plane hits the building, all the cement became like pulverized. And I'm gonna die. If the floor doesn't collapse totally and crush me, well then I'm gonna get sucked out. And if the two of them miss me, then I'll get electrocuted because all the cables that were hanging in the ceiling were short-circuiting and the sprinkler system came on, or I'll burn. I'm gonna die. And I'm screaming, Lord, I don't want to die. Please send somebody, anybody to help me. But the Lord heard that first call that I made. On the far end of the floor, somebody had a flashlight. And the person was shining it, but I can't see the person. Please wait for me. Don't leave me. And I'm holding on to the mangled furniture and I'm crawling. One floor was like 1 acre square. It was a massive building. I crawled the entire length of the loans department to the lounge and the computer room, the communication room, and one lousy sheetrock wall stood firm, 10 feet. I always ask, why, Lord, why? Lord, if you wanted me to die, why did you leave me there? Why would you bring me this far to leave me? Always ask that question. When I got there, I could hear faint because when the plane hit that building, it just popped my eardrum. I was like deaf, beyond. But as I got closer to the wall, I can hear the person saying, bang on the wall and I'll know where you are. And he still had the flashlight. Hitting the wall, the man says, I can hear you. Hollow ceiling, no, climb over. 10 feet sheetrock wall. I can't do it. He says, jump over and I'll catch you over the other side. I can't do it. I got swollen so fast I can't figure it out. And the flames are encroaching and I can't breathe. I was in bad shape. I'm gonna die at this point. I try to jump to grab on the top of the wall to hold on to and climb over. Can't do it. And part of the hanging loose sheetrock just caved in and tried to prevent from hitting me. I raised up my hand and a black sheetrock screw with a piece of wood went straight through my palm. I'm in worse shape than before. The man said, what happened? I said, the nail went in my palm. He says, bite it out. Can't do it. Try again. Remember your family. I hit the wood. The nail came off. The hand just made like a little balloon. Covered in blood. Black and blue. So fast. I was literally a bloody mess. Lost my shirt. My pants torn. My shoes stayed intact. My undershirt looked like it came from a shredder. And the man said, think about your family and try again. And I start crying out to this invisible God that I've heard all my life. Lord, who's going to walk Stephanie and Caitlin down the aisle? Our 2 daughters, when they get married. What is going to befall my wife and the bills that we have? How is she's going to manage? I'm crying out to this God. Lord, if you wanted me to die, why did you bring me here? And the man said, I can't hear you. You're going to die. And I don't know why. I just folded his hand and made a fist as tightly as I could. And I don't know why, but I start caressing this wall. I'm running my hands through this wall. Don't know why. And I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna bust you down today. I punched with every ounce of force I had in my body. And my fist passed right through that sheetrock wall. What is that chance? I've never broken a piece of wood. And I did White Tiger Kung Fu and Kempo, you hear all that, for a little while. But I still can't karate chop a piece of wood and break it. Can't do it. But the hand went straight through that sheetrock wall, a dry wall. The man grabbed my fist. He said, I see your hand. I said, when you see my head, he yanked my body through. And I punched, and the hole got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I stuck my head, and the man gave me one fluid motion, a headlock. Grabbed me around the neck and part of my shoulder. And he pulled, and I squirmed, and I flew on the other side. Knock him off his feet because he was standing up on a big pile of debris there. And we landed somewhere in the 80th floor. When I landed, all I remember, he's at the bottom, I'm lying on top of this guy, but I'm still hugging him. And I give him a kiss on the cheek. He says, what are you doing? And he got up and he fixed his jacket and his tie. He says, Brian Clark, like a robot. That's what he said, Brian Clark. And I said, Stanley Praimnath. But this guy did something that I would remember for a long, long time. He held on to my hand, and he took his left index finger, and he started caressing this wound. That's all he's doing. Then he stared me in the eyes and he says, all my life, I live as an only child. I was born and raised in Canada. I always wanted a brother, and I found him today. And this good old Irish man put his hand around my shoulder, and his left palm was bleeding, and he took my right hand, and he says, from today, you're my blood brother. And Brian and I maintained that relationship, and he assumes that role as a big brother towards me, if wanted today. And he says, come on, buddy, let's go home. And we started that long journey home. You had to walk 10 flights of stairs, turn in a little landing. Not a 10 flight, then you covered one floor. We got 80 floors to go. I had a large leg wound that was opening up. I was hobbling down, and I'm telling him, it's going, it's going. Stan, what is going? And you can hear the flames licking up the office space, and the water was just cascading down the stairwell. And the lucky shoe was giving me all the traction that I needed. And we stopped somewhere in the 45th floor. And I was in the best shape of my life, but I couldn't breathe. And I remember Brian put his hand against the door, opened it up. We went in, he picked up the phone from somebody's desk. I think it was Jane Witter. He picks up the phone and he's calling a lady named Diane. And I can hear, I've got this fella here from Fuji. He's in bad shape, but we're coming home. That's what he's saying to Diane. I tried calling my wife, Jenny. She was working at the time in the legal department for New York Stock Exchange. But they were doing all the software update, and their building was hidden over the Brooklyn Bridge. So nobody knew what was happening in this building. So they were not working on a trading floor. They were working in 2 Metro Tech Center. I called, she saw the first plane hit the first building she was going to work. The second plane she saw, and she says, this didn't look too good. One of the girls came, said, come on, let me take you home. She's on her way home. I spoke to her supervisor, a lady named Louise. I said, Louise, if you get in contact with Jenny, you tell her, I'm coming home to you girls. Hung up the phone, but something caught my attention. There's a man lying down on the ground with a broken back, massive back injury, closely shaved head, and you can see blood and bubbles oozing out. And he is crying, the same cry I can hear every night before I go to sleep. Please tell my wife and our baby that I love them. And there's an African-American security guard who could have escaped but chose to stay. Don't touch him. Touching him would cause him more serious injury. Send help. And this man who could have escaped chose to stay, and they both perished. See, September 11 bonded us. We didn't look different because we were covered by the same ash. Brian is frantically dialing 911, and they were routing the calls. We left them and went downstairs. When we got there, the only people we could have seen was the men and women in uniform. When the first building had hit, everybody else was roped around like 4 blocks away. They didn't come in. So the men and women in uniform did not realize people were trapped above the impact zone, but people were. And what you never heard on TV was after the 93 bombing that Neil shut the door that leads to the roof. Because they wanted to airlift us off in 1993, but it was a windy day and it was to knock us off the building. So the Neil shut the door. So chances are the people who tried to get up there couldn't have and didn't have time to come back down. They were trapped. Because Brian later told me that when he heard a scream, he stopped when they reached the 81st floor. He was working on the 84th. And the other people thought something worse was happening and went back up. And they never made it out. But he stopped to investigate, and he said, that's how he lived. And if I'm to quote him on CBS and BBC and ABC and CNN and all these places, he said when he heard the scream, he went in to rescue a stranger, but he came out with a brother. So the people were belching orders when we got to the ground floor. Run, run, run. Go to Liberty. Liberty Street, that is. Today, liberty is total freedom. I don't know where to go. I was in and out of sanity. I was losing my mind. Brian is running. And Brian and I, it looks like a scene from Forrest Gump. Everybody is cheering, go, 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 go. And we're running, helter-skelter. And I bumped into this guy. He was standing up like this. He looks like a monument smiling at grief. Anyway, he was a Catholic priest anyway. He was looking at the spectacle, standing up, watching. And I bumped into him. Nearly knocked the man over. He says, what happened? And Brian said, we just came up from the building. He says, no, this man here needs the hospital badly. Every person who I met said I needed a hospital, but I thought I was okay. They prayed for me. I couldn't remember a word, and they said I was babbling in a language you don't understand, and I'm not bilingual. Whatever I was saying, I don't know. And the next thing I know, I'm holding on to the fence, the backside of the church, of the Trinity Church. I don't know why Trinity Church, but Brian said, we have to go to Trinity Church. I told Brian that we have to go to Trinity Church. So we're holding on. The church is here. The Trade Center is above there, so we can see what is happening. And I'm telling this man, it is going. He says, Stan, you're in shock. What is you burning there is all drapers and cosmetic and paper. By profession, I'm an engineer and steel don't bend. And I stopped talking. And I don't know why I was saying the building is going, and you can feel the ground start trembling like a little tremor. And the building starts to sway. Oh my God, it's going to tilt over, it's going to tilt over. And then it stops. It's tilting again, and you're leaning with the building. And the next thing I know, the building starts to implode. Boom, boom, boom. When the building imploded, all the debris that went, the church was our shield. And all hell broke loose. The ladies were taking out their high heels and they were throwing and they were running. And the not so able are getting trampled. And you heard every form of expression. Some were screaming and they were cursing and they were praising God. And they were running. And Brian and I were separated. And my guardian angel who brought me out to Sodom and Gomorrah is gone. And I can't see this man. And in my heart, that's my guardian angel. And I'm screaming, Brian. And he's screaming for Stanley, but we can't see each other. And in my heart, they're bombing the financial area. They're going for the stock exchange. And I have to go save Jenny. And I got crazy. I mean, literally crazy. And I always say I can do a lot of collateral damage if I choose to. And I'm looking for something. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody. And I saw a man driving a white 4x4 pickup truck. I ran alongside the truck, yanked the door open and says, one word from you, you're dead, drive. Now you look a man like me, covered in blood, tattered clothing. First thing you would see, he's a bad guy. That's a terrorist. And I'm sure that passed through the man's heart. The man reached on top of the dashboard, got a white box of cigarettes and says, here, smoke. I said, nah, I had enough smoke for one day. And he laughed. So now you can see him like softening up. So he's looking at me and says, drive. He says, we're to Brooklyn Bridge. We reach the ramp at the Brooklyn Bridge. I open up the door, thank you, and I'm hobbling, I'm gone. Get out of my way, get out of my way. I gotta go save Jenny there, going for the New York Stock Exchange. In my head, this is what the bad guys would do. And I bump into this big guy. He turned around and I'm saying to myself, this man gonna kill me now. He turned around, he said, what happened? I said, I just came out of the building. He said, my name is Albert de Leon, I'm a senior counsel for French Bank. Tell me what you need. I said, show me where 2 Metrotech Center is. I don't know. I've never visited my wife. She works there. I don't want to go through 3 sets of metal detector. The man said, I live right behind the building. What is that chance 40,000 people on top of the bridge, one man you bump into know exactly where you got to go? I said, but I'm not going. He said, what do you mean you're not going? I said, because they hot-wired the bridge and everybody's going to die. I'm thinking now like the bad guy. So he said, sit down. So I sat down. He sat down next to me. He said, I want you to listen. And you can hear the F-16s hovering over Lower Manhattan. Tell me what is that? I said, that is Uncle Sam taking care of business. He said, well, come on, let's go. I was in Vietnam. He says, all right. So he and I were running now. We reached the lobby of the building. When we reached there, all the security guards surrounded us. Oh no, you're not coming in here. I can't blame them. Albert says, oh, this man is looking for Jennifer from the legal department. He put his back against mine, and the next thing I saw, the security guard, there's a stick coming down like this, in slow motion. And I took a Kempo stand, a block, and I kicked this guy so hard I thought he died. He flew. He literally flew, dropped on top of a desk, and he just tumbled over. And Albert says, you killed him, man? I said, nah, he's gonna live. So he is, total chaos now. All the other security guards are moved in. And in the corner of my eyes, one man is running, coming towards us. Greg Langan. And as Greg got there, what are y'all doing? Stan is a good guy. And I met Greg just one time in my life at a Christmas party. One time, for like 3 minutes. Greg said, give this man anything he wants. Make him well. Stan, we have a general counsel emergency meeting. I can't stay here with you. Give him anything he wants. Make him well. And Greg was gone. And then he turned back and he unbuttoned his white shirt. Here, Stan. Take my shirt. What a man. If this Bible was to be rewritten in modern days, this man would have been the Good Samaritan. He's gone. And the nurse says, no, Greg, take back your shirt. And she gave me one of her jackets. I put it on. And the lady was insistent, please take this apple, take this sandwich, take the bottle of water. Stan, you need it. You need the hospital. We don't have a facility here to take care of you. Now, if I can only talk to Jenny, my wife, and our 2 daughters, Stephanie and Caitlin, if I can talk to them and I can hear that they're okay, I'll be fine. Oh, Stan, you're in bad shape. Give me the phone. I can't use this hand, so I got my left finger like this and I'm trying to dial the number. I can't remember the number for the love of God. Playing with the number pop in my head, and here's Jenny. Who is this? Stanley. What are you calling me for? Please don't do this to me. My husband is dead. Man, when you hear something like that, and you're still listening, knowing that that's your loved one saying something like that, you'll never be the same. So now, the Lord took care of me. I'm going to come home to you girls. The nurse says, Stan, I can't send you home with a cab. I can't use the car service either. They shut down the Parkway. There's no train running, but we're going to go down to the train station. Well, lady, why are you going to take me to the train station and they shut it down? What are we going to do there? Well, I walked with her and we stopped there, and when we stopped, we're waiting for the A train to go back home. We waited like about 7 minutes, not a word is said. I can't describe this any way short of a miracle or a magic. You call it whatever you want. But all I heard was the sound of a train pulling in its station. She she can't believe what she's hearing or seeing. She's got her hand in her mouth like this, like in a shock. The doors open in front where I was standing. I stepped in the door, and it looks in retrospect as if the train came just for me only. The door closed as soon as I walked in. As the train is moving away from the platform, she's running alongside, waving me goodbye, like a scene from the book, Goodbye is Not Forever, Amy George. Read it, good book. I'm not selling college here. But looks like the lady, her husband is banished to the tundras of the salt mines of Tundra, and she got her baby clutched on, and she's waving goodbye, not forever, and she's gone. So exact scene flashed in my mind. So now I'm like the conductor. I'm not sitting down. As soon as the train stops, I'm peeking. Nobody's coming in, nobody's going out, door closes, I'm gone. I stop where I have to get out, second to last stop with the A train. And I got out of the subway, and a man looked at me, she says, "Oh my God, what's wrong with you? You're in bad shape. You need a hospital, but look, I got my lunch." I met the man once, I couldn't even remember, but then I remembered that, he's the guy who owns the Allstate agency there in Liberty Avenue. He said, "Hey, here, take my lunch and a bottle of water." I said, "No, I just want to get to my car." So I insisted, and he says, okay, but if you need, you can come in the office. I walked towards my car, and then I realized I'm swollen, I can't fit. I'm trying my best to use my left hand to put on the seatbelt, and I can't do it. I'm swollen. And I'm like, gosh, today I'm gonna get a ticket. A day like that, getting a ticket? What is passing through your mind, Stan? I try, buckling it on, and like a robot, I pull up in front of the house. When I got there, we lost the front door key. So we don't use the porch much. We go to the back door, the kitchen door. Jenny is standing up with these two precious children. Stephanie was 8, Caitlin was 4.5. And she's standing up like a zombie, not saying a word. And Gigi and Toots and Carolyn, everybody came, "Oh God, Stan, thank God you're safe," hugging me, kissing me. I woke up the stairs. I went for Caitlin. "Please don't touch me, you're not my daddy." She's not recognizing me. I'm covered in blood, torn clothes, black and blue, swollen. And "Please don't touch me." She's hiding by my wife, she's screaming. I reached for Stephanie, give the child a hug. I hugged that child, and that child told me something. Jenny had made her a sandwich because she said she was hungry. She still had the butter knife in one hand. And the child says, "Dad, if you didn't come home, I was going to kill myself." And when that child said what she had to say, nothing meant anything after that. All I remembered, I'm lying down, and the doctor is leaning over me, and he's telling somebody on the phone, this man lost his mind. The person he is telling is his brother. He doesn't know that I know his brother. His brother is my tax accountant. I said, "What is the man's name?" He said, "The wife said his name is Stanley Praimnath." I said, "Oh my God, that's brother Stan." I can hear the conversation. "If that man tells you something, believe him. He's a lay preacher." That's what his brother is telling him, Cheryl. The doctor gave me medication, everything. He says, "I'm giving medication, you go home, you sleep out the feeling. There's no guarantee. It might take a day, a month, a week, a year. You might eventually snap out. No guarantee, but because you lost your mind." And I can hear everything. I want to reach up and grab his neck and pop him and says, "I can hear you." But I couldn't respond in speech. I lost it. I couldn't recognize Jenny or the girls. I want to know what these children are still doing in the house. What is this strange woman doing in her bed? I don't want to go in and sleep there because my wife gets to know this strange person in that room. She gonna kick me out. So I'm not gonna go in there. So I remember she would give me a little notepad and a pen, a bottle of water and a telephone. whatever comes to mind, write it down. And this day I'm watching TV. I don't know what I'm watching, but I remember it was CNN. And the newscaster was going on. September is spelled with 9 letters, and all I see is saying, and in my head this thing looks or felt like a nightmare. And I can't say much in words. In my head I can hear Pastor Jim is preaching his heart out, my father-in-law. And he's saying all the answers to life is in the Bible. Jen, bring my Bible. So she stood up, got my Bible, and she was leaning like this towards me. The Bible was an old King James version with a zipper around. And the Bible is basically falling apart. So I am looking for the Bible now for 911, an emergency number. And I'm flipping the page, and all I remember was Psalm 91 just flew out there, landed on top of me, and I'm reading, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." I'm like, wow, good stuff. So I read it, and it became my favorite psalm afterwards. Now I'm able to recognize people and faces and places and everything else. And my job, we had wonderful coverage. They insisted that I go counseling. I said, I'm not going to go no quack or mess with my head. That's what I said. And she says, no, you got to go. Well, you want peace in the house, you better listen to the wife, right? Or that's what they say. So I went. First day I went, it's a Jewish doctor, a clinical psychologist. And she says, you can sit down, lie down, stand up, however you're comfortable. So I sat down. She says, tell me why you're here. So I told her basically what I just told you all. What happened? She started to cry. So I said to myself, you see, I knew it was a quack. I knew. She's supposed to be the strong one, and here it is. She's crying. What am I supposed to do? So I ended up telling her by the saving grace of God, and that woman accepted Christ right there. And I knew in my heart after that was what I was called to do. So I told my wife when I went to, I'm going to be a preacher man. She says, no. My dad was a pastor all his life, and I know the struggles that go on. I said, no, you got married to me, you didn't marry a preacher. I'm going to be a preacher man. And she said, with your schedule, you think you can do that? I said, you try me. So I studied. I became a pastor, and then I studied, I became a licensed minister. And I said, well, what is this? What else is there to do? And I stopped. Anyway, the devil was not happy. He's not going to give up. I know in baseball, 3 strikes, you're gone. 1993, I missed it. 9/11, I missed it. October came. In October came 2006, we were working in Jersey City because the Trade Center went down. I'm coming home. I got knocked off the escalator. I said, well, this is it. I survived. I said, well, 3 strikes, stand. One way or the other, these people are going to give up. Move to somebody else. We tried so many times, I'm still living. So something else got to go here now. The COVID came. Well, first phase of COVID, I got knocked down. 1 month in bed, can't move. The doctor says, oh no, we don't want you in here. You got something, you must spread it to everybody else. Got up, I lost 25 pounds. She had to go get a new wardrobe. I said, you didn't make one call. She said, what do you mean? I said, you were supposed to call GQ so I can model their clothes. And she said, Stan, how you can make jokes like that? Went to the doctor says, all right, the COVID is gone, you're fine. Now you got pneumonia in both lungs. They're treating me, antibiotics, I'm fine. Came back, left scar tissue in both lungs, I'm living. And then he says, I have to tell you something, I'm coming back. He go and bring somebody else. He said, this is a doctor here, Dr. Donnelly. The doctor says, I'm an oncologist. What that's supposed to do with me? So I want to give some good news. And I know you'll take it because my wife is a pastor and I know who you are. So I'm waiting now for the bad news. He says, you got leukemia. I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus. How many times do you kill one man? That's what I'm asking myself every single day. Move to somebody else. Give me a break. All right, battling leukemia. Still there. I come in with skin cancer. 6 months after. Cut me under here, took like a little ice cream scoop, dig out all the meat, stitch me back, send me home. I'm fine. 2024 comes. We came back from South Africa, we do a ministry there. And then I told my wife, I said, I'm burnt out, I want to go to Europe. She said, what are we going to do in Europe? We're going backpacking in Europe. So we went to Amsterdam, and we went over to Brussels, and we went over to Paris, ended up in London, eating up all the good food, 21,000 steps per day, I'm doing good. And when we came back, she says, go to the doctor. I said, for what? She said, well, you're physical, you're yearly physical. I went there, the doctor did a whole bunch of tests. I was there from, let's say, about 8 o'clock. 12 o'clock, I'm leaving. And he said, I don't think you should go home. Why not? You're a time bomb. Really? She said, this is what the doctor said, your 4 main arteries are 78 and 90 and 100% clogged. Quadruple bypass. Emergency service. Emergency surgery. I'm like, oh, sweet Jesus, here we go again. I told her, I told the doctor, I said, I gotta go home, I gotta set the house in order. And he said, but my license is at stake. I said, come on. If a plane can't take me, and if this can't take me, and leukemia can't take me, come on, this is gonna take me home? So I went home 3 days after, 6.5 hours surgery, cut me open like a pig, did what I had to do. And on the 27th, 2-3 days afterwards, was my birthday. In the morning I woke up and the nurses all came and they're singing happy birthday with a big cheesecake. I'm like, you guys lost it. I just came up from a heart surgery, give me cheesecake. He says, no, there's nothing wrong with your stomach. Eat the cake. I ate a piece of cake, I felt good. He said, well, you're going to take the rest of the cake home to celebrate your birthday because you're getting discharged today. So I went home. I'm like, all right, I think I'm fine now. And by God's grace, I'm okay. I've been doing what I was supposed to do, tell the good news. I still travel and do all this good thing. So, this is what I want you to take home. All who you're listening, you may never understand why you're going through what you're going through, but God has a plan and a purpose for your life. He has a plan for you. And you may never see the big picture. I ask myself many times, why me, Lord? But the answer I get back all the time, why not you? What makes you different? What makes you feel that you're not entitled to some bad things? Job said, in all my adversity, I'll still praise the Lord. If there was somebody like a modern day Job, it is yours truly. But you know what? I would still do what I'm called to do. Tell the good news. So if you never see me back again in your life, I want you to do me one favor. That's all I'm going to ask of you. Not to give me anything. Whenever you go before the Lord and you say your prayers, just remember my wife Jenny, myself, our 2 daughters, and our 2 grandchildren, Ezra and Hannah. That's all I'm asking. Promise me you can do that for me? Do that for me. I'll be eternally obliged. I want to say, whatever you do, do it with your all. You don't know what courses to take now, but in due time you will. Make yourself available, make yourself marketable, do the right thing, and in His time, you will reap that reward. Amen? Amen. All right. I would like you to stay blessed. Stay blessed. And if ever you come to New York for a visit, and you want to visit me, you can find me all over the internet. You can see me. I've never posted anything. Whatever you see there is what people posted. Give me a holler. And if I'm around, you come over. I'm a good cook. I'm going to cook you a decent meal. Fair enough? Stay blessed. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. What a story. What a story. Okay, just a few announcements. It's hard to even say much after he's talked. Just a few